Let me introduce myself. My name is Kateřina Ščavnická, but it's very complicated to pronounce it, so my name is Katie. And I'm an engineering lead in Kiwi.com. Who are we? Who is Kiwi.com? Kiwi.com is a traveling company trying to provide to our customers, to travelers, the best, and the smartest travel experience we could provide. And we are doing so with so-called virtual interlining algorithm. That's algorithm created by our company, combining flights or itineraries from multiple carriers into one single booking, So it's very easy to order some connection, even though those carriers do not collaborate in an official way and there is no official alliance between them. I work in Kiwi for almost 5 years now. And I won't lie to you, we've been through a lot. And that's the very core reason why I'm standing here today, because I would like to share our experience, our journey when working with data with you, share our pain points and lessons learned, because I think that you need to hear that. In Kiwi.com, every click, every search, basically every decision is driven by the data. But the core part is what we should do about the data and what we should do with the data to serve our customers well. And ever since I joined Kiwi, we've always put our travelers first. They were always the priority number one. But to really serve them well, to our customers, we needed to understand them first. But I don't mean understand, find some basic patterns. I mean really, really understand them to a deeper level. And for that, we wanted to use the AI, because there was all this hype about the AI. So we believe that when we just plug in it, and let it does the work on top of the customer's data, we will fully understand our customers and we will, find patterns beyond the human perception. But yeah, I will spoil it a bit. It wasn't an easy task. It was a hell. It was literally data inferno. We were living in the middle of burning hell. We were not capable to understand our customers at all. And my team wasn't a team of full-time engineers. We were a team of full-time firefighters, trying to survive the next on-call. That was it. That was our situation. But let's start from the very beginning. How did we even end up in such a situation? So when we wanted to understand our customers, and that time we were very naive, we found out that we have one single table in Kiwi, This is it. But as you can see, it seemed pretty easy, right? It's only one table, what could go wrong? It's nice. But since it contained all the information about our customers and all the actions and all the events, the volume was huge, right? It's almost 138 billion rows. And the volume, it's crazy, it's 900 terabytes. Can you imagine, what does it mean to store 900 terabytes? In Kiwi, we have a BigQuery as the core database for analytical purposes. So, let me explain what does it mean for us to store such a table. According to the official billing of BigQuery Google bills $20 per terabyte for storing just terabyte of the data. So when we do the math, we ended up with $18,000 per month just for storing one single table. And can you imagine what you can afford for $18,000? I can imagine what I could afford for $18,000. But if you are a company, you can afford at least in Czech Republic 4 engineers for 1 month, full-time engineers. But we were naive, as I mentioned, so we believed that more data means more answers. It won't be the hell, It will be great because all the answers are within this one single table. Yeah, and then we just use the AI, and the magic happens. Well, but it was just a dream. It was just a very naive idea. Because to answer a very simple business questions about our customers, we ended up with more than 250 custom SQL queries just to understand, the basic funnel. Visualized in more than 100 dashboards because every information is important according to our PMs. And last but not least, we ended up with one team of 11 analysts, data analysts, just keeping alive those queries and dashboards and pipelines, trying to survive the on-calls. And they were just literally resuscitating those pipelines or your colleague, it depends on the on-call. And that point, we have realized that we are trapped in the middle of the inferno. So what's the solution? There was no effective strategy enough that could help us to save, the building, the hell, the inferno. We just needed to escape. That was the only solution that could help us and help the situation for the future. But the escape plan wasn't about, running away and adios. It was about trying to find a new solution. Thanks to that, we would build, something new, something fireproof. And for us, that was data governance. So right now, I will walk you through the 3 golden rules that we have learned the very hard way. So the first rule is that data without owner should not be used at all. I know it sounds obvious, but believe me, it's not that obvious for the company. So, of course, we needed to start thinking about the ownership of the data. So in KiwiCom, we respect the data mesh, philosophy. It means that the data producers are also the owners of the data. And this is how it looks like today. At the very beginning, we have domain systems and services that produce data. And that data are then published directly to BigQuery, that's the square. And so-called domain data sets are created. And those domain data sets are also owned by the data producers, by the domain systems and services and the teams responsible for that. The next step is not mandatory, but I would say it's very strongly recommended, and that's the creation of so-called data models. What is it? What is data model? Data model is some kind of aggregated data products combining multiple domain data sets into one single source of truth. And on top of that, we are able to provide to our business stakeholders answers to their business questions. And on top of that, of those data models, there are many output ports. For example, data scientists, are using the data for training their ML models. Data analysts are querying those data for some custom ad hoc analysis. And last but not least, all whole reporting, the exploration, experimentation, A/B testing, basically everything is based on top of the data. So as you can see, when we used data with no owner, it could be quite problematic because we ended up with not just skewed results, we ended up with, wrong results that impacted our business. The second part is, or the rule is, that not all the data you have in the company should be treated as a product. That's not a data product. What do I mean when I tell data product? Well, data should be considered as a data product if it follows the next six aspects. So the first one is ownership, as I mentioned the slide before. The second one is documentation. Yeah, I know, again, sounds obvious, but we believe that, come on, we are analysts, we know what we are doing, we know how to work with data, we know, what does it mean, the result, right? Yeah, but again, we screwed up a lot because we didn't know what the data is really about. Because, for example, we ended up with some analysis, on top of some of our engines, and then we realized that in BigQuery there is only 1% of the traffic from the engine. So we were doing like many years conclusions on top of 1% of our traffic, which is crazy. The third part is quality. I'm not talking about, completeness or the completeness or the reliability of the data. I'm also talking about, business data quality checks. It means that the data makes sense from the business perspective as well. Could be, for example, for us in our context, that the sales, are not negative, because if we would have negative sales, it would mean that we are paying to our customers, not they are not paying to us. So the data needs to make sense from the business perspective as well. The fourth part is architecture. Architecture is a very important part, or at least it was for us, because there was no architecture, come on. There was one single table, and there were everything was in the table without any meaning, connections, primary keys, foreign keys, like there was nothing. So we needed to be sure that there are, at least some systems of tables connecting to each other with no duplicities. That was the bare minimum, and believe me or not, it wasn't ensured at the table. For the next thing is data contract. That was quite a game changer for us, so I will tell you a bit more about it in a while. And last but not least is security. We need to be sure that we are not storing, some kind of sensitive data, that the data won't put our company into the danger. And the third part is something that I didn't like at all. The less is more. Because I believed that more data means more answers, it's going to be nice. But yeah, I must admit that they were right. Less is more. We needed to be sure, or at least we needed to be sure that we are focusing on what matters the most, at least for our company. And let's get real, you are not able, and you won't be able to fix all the data you have in the company. You need to be sure that you fix the very core, data you have in the company, and that's it. So we introduced some 3-tier categorization, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, where the tier 1 is the most important category we have. That's the data that matters the most to Kiwi. That's the data that without that we wouldn't be able to literally survive. Because that's the data, about how many bookings did we have, what is the revenue, what is the sales. Basically the core minimum or the core things that's showing us what's performing, how the company is performing. On the other hand, there is tier 3, and that's also important, but let's get real, we can survive without the data. It could be, for example, some front-end events that you are debugging some internal application or something like that. Something very important for the flow within the company, but we can survive without that. The company won't be impacted by that if the data is not correct. And for the tier 1, when we were sure that this is the most important thing, we have onboarded those data contracts. Remember the slide, the hexagon? There was a part data contracts, this is it. And this is literally contract. That's a document between two sides, between data producers and data consumers. And those sides are agreeing with each other what are their responsibilities, basically what's the drill if something goes wrong, where it should be announced if there is any data outage, who is responsible for the communication, where it should be communicated, who is the one responsible for the communication, what is the SLA, when it's going to be fixed. And for that, thanks to that, we were able, to step back a bit and, look at the situation in a more objective, blameless way. And now stop. Those 3 rules that I've shared, definitely they were like game changers for us, no doubt about it. But I'm also here to share with you the experience as a person, as me. Because I'll be honest, it wasn't an easy task. We were literally trying to survive. It was very frustrating. It was very I was very tired because I didn't sleep during the night sometimes. I was really pissed, to be fair, because like nothing was going to happen with that, and I wanted to quit. And it was very hard for me to accept the fact that it won't happen over the night, because to fix the data, we needed to also change the mindset in the company around the data and the mindset about that data quality. And we were making one step forward and 2 steps back. So please, if you are going through some kind of hell, as we did, be ready that it won't happen over the night. It will take time. But the difference it made, it's like a day and night. Remember the huge table, this table contained more than 3,000 distinct actions of our customers, if the customer click on that button or payment button or something like that. And we have realized that 200 distinct, actions of our customers is more than enough to understand our customers. We don't need 3,000, we need 200, and I believe that we could survive even with 100. Also, when we were building the solution from scratch, we also realized that there was a bug, so we were missing 15% of the data. And last but not least, thanks to all these data governance rules, documentations and agreements, we were capable to build a new solution, the aggregated data layer, the one single source of truth, providing answers to all the business questions our business stakeholders had. So, remember this scary slide, 250 queries. Right now we have less than 20, thanks to that solution, thanks to the data model, less than 20 dashboards, and we have only 3 analysts right now. Don't worry, they are still in the company. They are just not keeping alive those dashboards. And remember, the AI, when we wanted to use it, now was the time. After all these years and all sleepless nights, now was the time to start using AI. So thanks to that, we were able to build semantic validation on top of the data. It means that AI is basically checking in some CI/CD pipelines that data with the very same semantic meanings follows the same rules, follows the same name, the data type, so it keeps the data unified and consistent. The second part is that we've been able to onboard the anomaly detection and anomalous behavior of our customers, because compared to the original solution, everything was anomalous, because everything was anomaly. So, nice. And last but not least is the data interpretation. AI helped a lot, to understand, to our PMs to understand the data. And they are able, thanks to that, to talk to our data. And when I'm saying talk to our data, I'm literally talking about talking to our data. We've built a chatbot within Slack, having a context about all our data. And when we have asked our Slack chatbot, basically very simple business question, what is the booking conversion rate or the conversion rate for some portion of our traffic, we got answer with the correct numbers within few seconds. And that was a huge game changer in our company, because thanks to that, PMs are able to self-service their questions, and they don't need 11 analysts keeping alive their dashboards. So, to sum it up, more data doesn't mean more answers. It's the other way around, because more data sometimes is literally just fuel, to the inferno. But I'm convinced that if you follow some data governance rules, it will be your way out of the flames of the fire of the hell. And for us, it was literally a lifesaver. And since it saved sanity of us, We are huge fans in Kiwi of the data governance, so if you want to talk to us or reach out to us or ask any questions, please do so. We will be happy to, talk about our problems together. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Very interesting, data firefighting, I would say. Okay, we have time for a Q&A session. So whoever's here, could you try to come to the microphone? Or I come with the microphone to you, and the second one, please walk there.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was really superb, and I really empathized with that as well. And congratulations for getting through the Inferno. I was wondering what was most effective for you in convincing the business to change it from an Inferno into something organized? Was it people quitting? Did you talk to stakeholders? What did you do?
We just let it burn. Literally, we just, at some point we gave up and we let it burn. We let the pipelines fail, and we were showing them that, hey, this is going to happen because people are quitting. This is going to happen when we won't invest some time to delete the technical debt. So yeah, let it burn was the only way. Because we were trying so many ways, we were showing numbers, convincing them that this is the best solution. Presentations, documentations, RFCs, nothing helped enough.
Thank you.
Okay, so 2 questions. First, how long did it roughly take to go from this state of everything is on fire to where you felt like it was okay-ish? And second question, how often did someone accidentally run select star on this 900 terabyte table, and how much did it cost?
Yeah, so to the first question, sorry. It took 5 years, literally, but there were 3 years with where we were trying to convince the CTO and CEO that this needs to happen. So 3 years out of these 5, it was just discussing about nothing literally because there was no questions about it. And then we've built the new solution within half a year, let's say. And sorry, what was the second question?
How often did someone run select star on this huge table?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, so we needed to restrict it a bit, and set up some kind of clustering and mandatory filtering on top of the table. I was one of them as well at the very beginning. I didn't know about the size, I was just running select star.
If a company had to build all of that again, do you think it could be done without sort of human data governance agreements and rather technical contracts? That is, API interfaces, the analyst saying, this is the data that we expect, that's the only format you can give it to me in, that kind of thing?
Yes, we are doing both. The data contract is a concept across the whole company, but when we are talking about the customer's data right now that I was talking about, we have some kind of, tech contract. It means that each event, every data, every row needs to follow specific structure, data types, and namings. And in case there is something off within the data, it just, fall back to dead letter queue to some trash table, where the trash data is stored, and it won't be propagated directly to the reporting. So it affects the data volume, but at the same time, it affects the whole business. So yeah, we needed to be strict with that.
Hey, Kate, thanks for the presentation.
Hello.
I have a question about how you manage your data model. So you mentioned that you have these domain sets and then you generate data models out of that. Mm-hmm. What are the tools you use to keep this data model up, or what the data model actually is?
Yeah, first we need business specification from our stakeholders. This is what, it's some kind of document with requirements. And then there is my team. we are called data modeling team. We are the team creating those aggregated layers. And yeah, for that we are using, basically SQL transformations, runs in a regular, schedules, daily, hourly, within the duck, Python. And yeah, it's visualized in Looker. Basically, no rocket science.
And a second question is, was the AI integration the final nail to the coffin? Was it the point where the product realized that, yes, we need to step in? Or why wasn't there other use case before that basically signaled, well, this is terrible, we need to do something about it? Because you started with, well, we want to integrate AI, we found out it can't work. So was AI the point, or was it the failing pipelines and people being outraged?
It was the last drop, I would say. Yeah, there were a lot of frustration around the data in general, but nobody cared because it was on us, taking care of it. And in the end of the day, we were providing the data, even though it was hell. But when our CTO wanted to onboard the AI and it went it didn't go like that, then he realized that, oh, actually they are right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you for the amazing talk. I have to say I felt quite a bit of the statements you said. I was like, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So one of the issues we have is that people in the organization pull in different directions. And probably none of the directions are really bad, but they just don't match to each other. How did you manage that people actually could somewhat go into one direction together and say, these are the rules we follow, we take these steps, and we actually make it happen? Yeah,
it wasn't easy at all because we had, 100 developers, so we had 100 opinions and the best ways and practices what we should follow. So yeah, it cost us a lot, many hours of discussions, endless discussions, running in the circle. So the only thing was what worked for us a lot, basically sit together, during the meeting and discuss everything face to face, not just throwing random, statements in the threads in Slack. We just needed to face it and then we agree. And after each meeting, we were just taking notes and posting to the channel that, hey, this is what we agreed on. You have 1 day to tell me if you want to do it in a different way. Otherwise, this is the direction we are going to follow.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you for your talk, Kate. I just have a few questions. So at the beginning, you mentioned that you clarified the ownership of the data for each domain. But when it comes with data model, and we need to aggregate the data from different domains together, so how do you clarify the ownership of the data model in this layer?
It depends on the use case. If there is a data model, aggregating multiple, 10, 20 domain data sets across the whole company, we have one hub team, like the central team, my team, taking care and owning those models. In case we are talking about something more specific, something smaller with very narrow use case, it's owned by the developers or embedded, data engineers within that domain. So we had this hub and spoke model, of collaboration, that we have one central team, and that central team is helping embedded engineers within domains.
Okay, it's clear. Sorry, another question.
We have time for one more quick question.
Okay. So when you talk about the different layers of the data, I wonder what kind of metrics or factors you consider when you classify the models into different layers. It's about the usage, or for example, the frequency used by data users, or what else?
Yeah, and sorry, what we want to measure? I didn't
we have the, I just saw you tiered different layers for data model, for example, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, based on importance. So what are the factors you are considering when you classify
Okay. The first one and the most important one is the business impact. If the data has direct business impact on our company, for example, the revenue, it's tier 1, no doubt, no questions about that. In case it's something that is important, it was just a bit gut feeling. There are no specific framework around it. We just went, one product by product, talked to our stakeholders, and we were discussing like what is the priority and what's the priority and the importance of the data.
Okay.
And based on that, it helped us with the prioritization as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to interrupt here. Thanks to speaker again.
Thank you.